Welcome to the AWE Breakfast Show, featuring Sony Projectors. Here's your host, Sean Hannam.
Good morning. Welcome to the AWE Breakfast Show. My name's Sean Hannam, and I'm a freelance journalist who specialises in writing about tech, retail, and music. I've been in the consumer electronics industry for more than 20 years, amazingly, and I'm your host for this year's AWE Breakfast Show sessions at EI Live Interactive. Now, as part of this virtual week-long event for the home tech sector, I'm talking to industry representatives from brands including Sony, Ring, URC, Epson, Denon, Marantz, and Definitive Technology from Sound United, LG, and also, of course, AWE. We'll be holding an interactive Q&A session with our guests towards the end of this session. That's in about 30 minutes time, 30 minutes time. There will be the chance for you, the viewers and listeners, to send in your questions for the panel during the show. So get thinking about what questions you'd like to ask the panel. And in order to do that, you have to maximize your computer screen, go to the viewers control panel on the webinar platform where you can submit the questions during the show, and we'll discuss them with the panel towards the end of the session. Don't phone in. You can't. And for this 30-minute session, I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Chris Mullins and Adam Dover of Sony Professional Solutions Europe. Chris is the product manager of Home Cinema, and Adam is the Home Cinema account manager and is also responsible for trade marketing. And also joining us today from AWE is Home Cinema product manager, James Drummey. And today we'll be focusing on Clever, with links like that. You can see why they asked me to do this, can't you? That's why they pay me the big bucks. We'll be talking about the features and benefits of Sony's home cinema projector lineup, discover why they're ideal for home integrators, and also to discussing some home cinema market trends and industry issues. Now, the big cinema question I'd like answered is, when are we going to get to see the new James Bond film? I suspect no one will be able to answer that at the moment. Anyway, we have no time to try. Oh, that was bad, wasn't it? Sorry about that. So morning, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
How are we all doing? Right. So I'm going to just get you to talk a bit about yourselves. So, Chris, where are you joining us from this morning?
Yeah, so I'm joining you from particularly grey Sandhurst this morning, in Berkshire. So it's pretty grey, I think, like everywhere across the UK.
I see you have a map of the world on the wall behind you. Sadly, you're not anywhere exotic. Is Sandhurst on that map or not? No,
no, sadly not. No, I think it's a bit off camera, I think, that one.
We had Todd from Ring on earlier. He was in San Francisco, so I think he's won so far. But who knows? We don't know where Adam's calling him from. Where are you this morning, Adam?
Yeah, not quite exotic as that either. I'm in my home office in Basingstoke, Overton at the moment, just outside Basingstoke. So
Dallas,
particularly grey. Dallas, yeah, very much so.
And James, what about yourself? You're at AWE, aren't you? By that backdrop.
Yeah, I'm in the office today, so looking after the office. Very, very quiet in here. There's only a couple of people in, so warehouse and a couple of guys upstairs.
That fire looks very inviting.
Yeah, it's not real. There's no heat coming from it.
I'm actually in my attic, and there's no fire. Well, I've just checked. I hope there's not. Anyway, if there is, there's something seriously wrong. Chris, tell us a bit about yourself. How long have you been in the industry?
Yeah, so I've been with Sony actually for more than 12 years now, and I've been looking after our home cinema product range as well as our simulation and visualization projectors for about the last 3 years now. And before that, for about 8 years, I was in the digital cinema team as a product manager, also looking after our kind of content management systems as well. So yeah, I've been a real projector guy, I guess, for more than a decade now. So yeah.
About yourself, Adam, how long have you been at Sony? What's your background?
So I've been at Sony now just over 5 years, various different kind of responsibilities within that. I started off actually when I first joined Sony in the video security arm of the business, and then moved over to mainly focus on the kind of the B2B and the home cinema about a year in. So yeah, within the homes, looking after home cinema side of things now in various different sales and marketing functions for around three and a half years.
Great. So, and James, what about yourself? How long have you been at AWE?
I've been here 15 plus years. We tried to work it out the other day, but I haven't got enough fingers. But before that, I was worked in a hi-fi shop, so in Red Hill, which has sadly closed a long time ago. But after that, moved over to AWE and been here ever since.
So I mean, that's a shop that's closed, not Red Hill, but who knows?
Yeah, at the moment, I think both. But yeah, the shop closed and it became a Specsavers.
It should have gone there instead. Sorry. So yeah, let's talk a bit about James, a little bit about, in a nutshell, a little bit what AWE does.
Yeah, so AWE, we're distribution for all things custom installation. So I actually specialise in the home cinema side. So whether that's the projectors or the sound systems, AV amplifiers, speakers, that kind of stuff. So that's the area I'm in. But we do all of the other things as well, like control solutions, security solutions, that as well.
Okay, so I'll ask either Chris or Adam, really. Can you tell us a little bit about the division of Sony that you guys work for and what it going to get us up to, really?
Yeah, I mean, so from our side, maybe one thing that people don't completely recognize, I mean, everyone knows Sony as a brand, but actually within Sony, there's a department called Imaging Products and Solutions, IPS, and within that's where our professional division sits. And within that professional division, we have our AV Media Solutions business, our sports business, healthcare businesses, and our B2B kind of projectors and displays. But also alongside that, that's where our home cinema sits. So that's where me and Adam are based within that kind of professional division as well, alongside our partner consumer business.
I think we've got a seamless link there to home cinema. So can you talk us through some of the new 4K products? Because that's primarily what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about the new home cinema projector lineup from Sony. So really, talk us through some of the kind of new products in the range. Talk us through some of the USPs, also why they're great for consumers, but also why are they ideally suited for the home integration market?
Yeah, sure. I can take you through. Let me show that. I mean, Sony has a full range of home cinema projectors. I mean, we've been in the industry, I think, for more than 40 years now. I think we were one of the first companies to launch actually a home cinema projector back in the 70s. So Sony's been kind of growing with home cinema over the decades, and we have a full range of solutions basically for all different budgets, from just over £2,000 up to more than £80,000, and also there's a full range of brightnesses as well. So from 1500 lumens all the way up to 10,000 lumens now with our latest flagship. So really, whatever the screen size, whatever your customer's budget or requirements, I think there is definitely a projector suitable for them. Just to pick out a few kind of key models, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything here because we're a bit limited on time, but sure. I guess the best starting point would be the kind of entry 4K model, so our VW 270. So this model in particular is a real kind of star performer for Sony. It really has that great balance of price versus performance. So this is actually the most affordable native 4K projector you can get on the market at £5,000. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it won the What Hi-Fi Award for the best product of the year between the £3,000 and £5,000 bracket. Yeah, and that's actually the second time it's won it in a row. So I think that really shows its pedigree, really. And if people really want, you see a lot of projectors called 4K projectors, and this is a native 4K projector, and what that delivers is really excellent image quality and clarity on screen. So that's really what you want from your 4K projector, is all about that clarity, and that's what this product in particular delivers, I think, quite a lot. Alongside that, So alongside that, we also introduced a couple of new products actually this September. We launched the VW 590, which is our premium lamp projector. This particular product is actually quite interesting, especially for custom installers. So this kind of our premium end of our lamp range introduces kind of picture positioning to the functionality list above the 270. It has more brightness, more contrast. So it really is perfect for those dedicated rooms as well, because you can switch between 235 and 16:9. But alongside that, the key advancement we've launched with this product is the new picture processing. So we have the X1 for projector processing this time round, and this really gives us a huge advantage in our reality creation. So our upscaling is even better, and also HDR in particular. So we have some new dynamic tone mapping technologies as well.
Can you tell us a bit more about the X1 processor, because that's proprietary tech to Sony? I know it's also features in the Sony Bravia TVs, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is the benefit of Sony, really. We have a lot of fingers in a lot of pies, and we have a lot of award-winning products, especially on our display range. And our Bravia displays are known for their picture processing, their motion handling, their upscaling, and color as well. And we're taking that technology into our home cinema projectors, and that's what we're doing with the X1 for Projector. So it's not exactly the same because the image characteristics are actually different between an OLED or an LCD or a projector. So it's been modified, optimized for projection, and delivers a couple of benefits in particular this time round. So let me show you. So yeah, this time we've introduced two things. So one is our dynamic HDR enhancer. And this is, as I mentioned, it's our dynamic tone mapping technology. And it's really a frame-by-frame enhancement for HDR. One challenge we have with projectors in particular is you don't have the physical peak brightness to achieve those real specular highlights with HDR in most cases. So you have to manipulate the image to get the HDR feel of the image, and this is what this technology really does. Whether it's a dark scene, it will optimize the curve perfectly to give you those really deep dark details and give you those specular highlights, or in a bright scene, use a different curve to do that. So this is really taken from our years and years of experience with our Bravia side and our movie production, all in one, to deliver this kind of overall HDR feel. And I really think it's a real leap forward from our previous generation to this generation in HDR performance.
You mentioned earlier the GTZ 380, which you said was right at the top end. So it's £80,000. Maybe can we touch a bit on that? So that's obviously targeted at the very high-end CI market. What's so special about it that it commands a massive price tag like that?
Yeah, I mean, the GTZ 380 is actually a truly unique unit. It's the flagship product from Sony, not just for residential, but also for B2B as well, for business. And yeah, the reason why it is our flagship, or what we try and do with every flagship, is really change the game. What is possible? What image quality improvements can we make that's completely unique in the industry? And with the GTZ 380, we've really done that. So we've doubled the brightness from our previous flagships, so now it's 10,000 lumens. So that's really plenty of brightness for your average residential user. You could actually do up to 8-meter screens at 30-foot Lamberts, or you could have it 4 or 5-meter screen and have it like kind of TV HDR brightnesses. So this is kind of the other way to do HDR. One is to do tone mapping. The other way is just improve the core fundamentals of your projector. So have that peak brightness available, have the really great native contrast. So with the GTZ 380, it's really uses SXRD again, so you get that really good black level performance, and that's what's unique, the brightness and the contrast aspect. And just the final thing to complete the HDR picture with GTZ 380 is the color. So the color, it can do 100% DCI P3, but without any brightness loss. So normally when you add DCI P3, you have to lose 30%, 40% of your brightness with a filter. This does it without any filtering at all. So you get that real color volume and HDR performance.
Right. You touched on the kind of native or the true 4K issue earlier, I guess, is a kind of hot topic in the projector industry at the moment. So using a projector can actually be a better experience than using a TV, arguably, in the right environment. What about this so-called issue of kind of 4K versus 4K, as some people are calling it? If a consumer is spending a lot of their hard-earned cash, with £80,000 or 2,000, 5,000, how can they make sure they're viewing true native 4K rather than 4K? What are they getting for their money with the Sony projector?
Yeah, I mean, this is truly unique to projectors. I mean, with TVs, if you buy a 4K or a UHD panel, you get UHD pixels. But with projection, actually, there can be a case where you buy a 4K projector and actually the imaging panel in your system is actually HD or just slightly better than HD, and then there's some kind of pixel shifting to make it 4K. Yeah, that's quite unique. So you're not actually getting true native 4K throughout the system, and this is what Sony kind of delivers as kind of a core kind of design requirement. Is we want every pixel to have its place, and every pixel is important. So from the source through to the panel, through to the optics, through to the processing, and then all the way through to the screen, each pixel has its place. So that's why we have these, what we call our native 4K panels, which are 4096 by 2160 resolution. So there's no shifting or image manipulation around that to deliver that clarity on screen. Because if you do start doing stuff like that, it is quite clever technology to do that, but you can introduce some artifacts, especially in motion. So for us, you need to look for that word native in your when you're searching for your projectors. There is quite a lot of marketing out there, so it's a bit hard to find. But yeah, I mean, you can't go far wrong with a Sony projector, because this is what
I think
we prioritize.
It's important to note that the DLP projectors, a lot of those, they actually all put themselves out as 4K projectors, but they're doing this because they can display 4K on the screen, but they're doing it with a pixel shift, so they show part of the screen at a different time. So they actually do this pixel shift movement, where the Sony has 8.8 million pixels on the panel, so you get every pixel all the time.
Right. I think, like as Chris said, it is very clever technology, and the ability to do that is there's a lot of design work that goes behind that. But I think what we Sony say is, our native 4K is that projection without those compromises, because as Chris said, there's always going to be compromises using eShift, because you lose some details when you talk about motion and certain other use cases, that it becomes a challenge. So using the native 4K panels, and that's what Sony really want to push, is that native 4K message and really getting that best on-screen experience.
Adam, you work on the marketing side of it. I know you've been kind of using this tagline, "Lens to Living Room." Can you tell us a bit more? Seems to kind of nicely link into what you just told us. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so it's as Chris mentioned again earlier. With Sony, we're very lucky that Sony is a very large corporation company worldwide, and with that comes a lot of experience and a huge amount of breadth and depth across the whole of the kind of the imaging sectors, and certainly. We call it lens to living room. In the US, I think it's camera to couch or something like that. But essentially what that is, we have Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures are responsible for, really creating content. That content is then shot on Sony cameras. So our Venice cameras, a lot of other cinematography cameras that we have are used to really capture that content. It's then post-production, it's graded on some of our Sony monitors, so our BVM HDX310 monitor and some of the other new ones that we've just released, that they are the industry standard for grading, and really when directors are using that, they're using those monitors to really get the most accurate image from what they're looking to get from their content that they've just shot. And then when you finally deliver that to the screen, whether it's a Bravia TV, whether it's a home cinema projector, whether it's actually in a cinema, a commercial cinema, we have the experience at each individual step to know exactly how that image should be transferred from the lens right through to being delivered on screen, and really delivering that director's intent, because directors have very specific ideas of how they want their content to be shown, and we really believe that we can deliver that as accurately as possible on our systems.
James, if I can bring you in here now, and can you talk a little bit about the relationship between Sony's Projector division and AWE, and why these kind of products appeal to you as a distributor and your customers?
Well, we work incredibly closely with Sony, so when it's outside of COVID, we actually get our dealers over to Sony and Basingstoke as well for product launches and the like. That's really good, because an AWE dealer doesn't feel like an AWE dealer buying from Sony. They feel like a Sony dealer, but we're looking after the logistics of it. So as an AWE dealer, you are also a Sony projector dealer, and we work incredibly closely together. So whether that's at Basingstoke or coming over here where we've got the whole range of the Sony projectors, but we do look after each other very well.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about the bigger picture. So I'm full of them this morning, aren't I? So, let's full of something. Yeah, let's talk about the kind of home entertainment market. I know a lot of trends are saying that the home cinema market, projectors market, has seen a really healthy growth in recent times. Have you guys at Sony seen a big increase in sales as more people are kind of stuck indoors? Are they looking at what they've got around them and thinking, I could upgrade my home entertainment system? What are the figures showing for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally in the kind of the custom install market as a whole, we're incredibly lucky to be so busy at the moment. I think with people spending more time at home because they have to, they're very much like myself, with spending more time here and realizing that actually I want to kind of upgrade my entertainment space at home, because I'm spending a lot more time here and I want it to be as good as possible. And I think what we found is that end users are definitely seeing that that they're upgrading, because they now have some more income, because they're not going on holiday, they're not going out as much as they perhaps were before. So there's definitely been a substantial demand in complete entertainment spaces at home, whether that's home cinemas, whether that's just media rooms, whether it's simulators. I see quite a lot of people now putting simulators in garage conversions, where it's a golf simulator, a driving simulator. I'm still trying to persuade my other half to go along with that. But yeah, I mean, just
from the garage to golf, they'd say in America, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, that would have been quite fun this weekend. But yeah, I think and we get the feedback from dealers as well. I think that it's exceptionally busy in the channel at the moment. I think really a lot of companies were going through the COVID times, and there was a huge amount of uncertainty. I mean, and still is, and obviously that causes some supply challenges, because I think
about that. Has there been a supply and demand issues in the industry? Or?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely open with you, I think yes, it is the answer to that. Purely because I don't think anyone anticipated it to be quite as busy as it really is. So factories are working as hard as they can to produce, and again with Sony, we're quite lucky in a sense that we have a complete vertical integration. So all of the components that you see we have and use in our projecting systems are all manufactured by Sony. So they're Sony panels, it's Sony lenses, it's Sony sensors, everything. So we have complete control over that, which has really helped us in many ways during these times. But yeah, I mean, as a whole, the industry is doing quite well at the moment.
James, yeah.
Yeah, from our side, we've put in huge back orders. So even though we can't guarantee we've got stock all of the time because of the size of the orders we've put in, we've got stock coming through. So it's shouldn't be too long a wait once someone puts an order in to get one of the Sony products.
One of the things Adam touched on there was a kind of the variety of uses for projectors. So premium projectors aren't really just for dedicated home cinema rooms, are they? They've got a wide range of uses in the home.
No, yeah, we were definitely seeing that. Yeah, I think, well, at least across Europe, there's kind of a steady flow, I would say, of dedicated rooms. But on top of that, there's, definitely we're seeing much more increase in those kind of media rooms, those multi-purpose spaces, those living room solutions as well. I think people are looking to have much more social spaces where they don't necessarily want to have the lights completely down, or they want to watch sportings or stuff on the large screen, or live theatre or whatever on the large screen as a family or as with your friends, especially in the safe environment as we were talking earlier. There's been a lot of growth in that, and that's where we try and gear some of our products towards. So, for example, like our 270 and 590 coming white, for example, because you can put them on the ceiling, it's a bit more discreet, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
But also alongside that, we also have our laser projectors, and laser projectors also in the premium end really suit themselves to living room use, because they're kind of hang and forget. There's no lamp changes, there's no the brightness is very consistent and the color is very consistent, but also they're very fast on and off. You can turn them on within 30 seconds, it's full brightness on screen, and you've got a 150-inch image ready to go, and that really lends itself to that kind of operation of what people use these days. I want to watch a quick episode of Netflix, bang, you can watch it in a few seconds. So yeah,
one of the things we want to touch on, we've got about 5 minutes left, but we've still got plenty to squeeze in. Projectors for gaming. Obviously, PlayStation 5 is out this week. It uses an HDMI 2.1 connection, which is what allows kind of next-gen consoles to support higher frame rates, up to 120 frames per second, which is higher, isn't it, than the usual frame rates on current hardware. Does a projector need to be HDMI 2.1 to be a good choice for gaming? What's your kind of take on that?
Well, so from my side, so our latest 4K projectors are HDMI 2.0. So that means you can, or 2.0B, you can accept up to 4K 60p in full HDR quality. And from my side, I feel that is sufficient for 98% of the gaming needs in the industry, to us on the large screen. So one of the key things they're trying to do with this current generation is take it from kind of 4K upscaled 30p up to full native 4K HDR 60p to have a very uniform performance, and you'll be able to have that kind of silky smooth performance on our projection systems as well. And we do have our input lag reduction technology as well. So basically, you'll get a very Similar input lag to what you get on the Bravias, so around 20 odd milliseconds is our input lag. So basically, if you play your console on your Bravia, you'll get the same performance on the projectors. So it's it's a key market. We see it growing more and more. With regards to the 120p aspect of it, I think it's quite a little bit of a niche, I would say, within the gaming industry. If you're into your kind of first-person shooters and you want to have that extra frame difference than your competitors, then more than likely you're going to be using it with a gaming monitor or something a bit smaller. But for all other type of applications, all other games, whether you're playing FIFA or driving simulators or whatever, the projectors will give an outstanding performance for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to take some questions in a minute, but before we go over to the viewers or listeners, I want to ask you a few more kind of off the cuff, less industry specific questions. You'll be glad to know. So we've all been spending loads of time at home. So I was going to ask, as we're talking home cinema, any of you guys seen any good films or TV recently? What's been keeping you occupied during lockdown?
Well, good question.
I've been watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. It's a drama about a woman who plays chess. It doesn't sound particularly interesting, but it's actually absolutely fantastic. This limited series, stunning.
Great. It's had good reviews. Yeah. On that note, Chris, your move. What have you been watching keeping you occupied?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been doing a lot of like a lot of other people is just kind of hitting the TV box sets. To be honest, I've been hitting some of the old classics actually. Well, not too recent ones. I've been watching a bit of True Detective, which is a nice HBO. I think it was HBO series a while back. And some others. I mean, I've even been hitting some really old classics like Dexter, which was a few years ago now. But I've been really enjoying those actually and spending.
And Adam, what about you? All on projectors, obviously. You're watching these all on Sony projectors, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. I mean, I've probably lost count of all the box sets we've gone through in the last few months. It's probably quite embarrassing to say how many that's been, but I think more recently we're starting to watch the what's it called, The Undoing on Sky Atlantic, which is quite a good one with Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman. That's quite good. But otherwise, it's I've just finished watching the latest series of Billions as well, which is quite good.
Right. Okay. I should be noting all these down so I can entertain myself for the next couple of weeks. We're going to now go over to Mal Fisher at AWE. I know Mal's going to join us to see if we've had any questions come in from the outside world, so to speak. So, Mal, have we got any questions that people have been asking this morning?
You do indeed. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, people are listening.
Voice, isn't it? It's like we've got Brian Watson on the line.
A couple of points raised. Jeff says, James, good choice. Queen's Gambit is excellent. Jose says, screen cinema media speakers have had a boost during lockdowns and surmises with it should be a good year for our industry. And we have a couple of questions from Peter. Peter Oditz, which should be known to a few of you. In the panel's opinion, how much on-screen 4K pixel resolution is compromised by putting subwoofers behind an acoustically translucent screen? Over to you.
Well,
wow.
There's an interesting subwoofers. I noticed this at Everyman, actually. If the subwoofers are behind the screen, they're loud enough, you actually get a kind of vibration across the screen. So whether or not you want the argument of are acoustically transparent, translucent screens better or worse to get the center channel in, putting subwoofers behind actually just does vibrate the screen. So for me, I would prefer to put subwoofers away either to the sides or in the corners of the room.
Great. Okay, we've got time for one more question. Sorry to cut you off there, James. Anything else on the that's been sent in?
Yes, we have one more from Peter. What does the panel consider the most important ANSI or frame sequential contrast ratio? Where is the balance between the two?
ANSI, one word.
That's I mean, for me, ANSI contrast is quite critical because very rarely do you actually see a full black or a full white screen, which is what sequential contrast is all about. There's always some area of light and dark area on the screen. So ANSI contrast, which is kind of that checkerboard pattern and the ratio you get from that is quite a good indicator of image quality overall as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. We're running out of time. That's the end of the show. So I'd like to thank all my guests. So Chris and Adam from Sony and James from AWE and Mal, thanks for coming in at the last minute here with the questions. And I'm going to go off to do some box set binging now. All those TV recommendations are great. So thanks. And don't forget to join us for the rest of the AWE breakfast shows all the way throughout the week, live from EI Live Interactive. See you soon. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you for watching the AWE Breakfast Show.